Hi, I'm Andrew Wasson. Thanks for joining me for my weekly guitar blog. It's August 30th, 2015. This week we're going to do a lesson covering simple guitar soloing exercises. And this week's question was sent in from Reece. He's out in Danvers, Massachusetts, and he wrote in with this email: I am making a study of the neck scales right now, and I have a number of patterns memorized. I've also learned a few sections of some solos, but I was wondering if you could run down a proper way that I could get better at learning to play solos. Is there an orderly guitar soloing exercise or an academic style approach to this I could begin to use? I'm looking for a musician's system. From Reece in Danvers, Massachusetts, USA. Well, thanks for writing in, Reece. Guitar soloing in and of itself as a guitar concept can't truly be considered as an easy thing, since it will involve scale knowledge, technique. You'll have to develop your feel for it. There'll have to be an intuition level there, just for moving around the fretboard itself. But what we need to examine when we're trying to improve our skills in this area are different ways that we can improve how our solos sound. And this means, getting as good as we can at phrasing devices, things like bends, slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, vibrato, and even rake technique, all those kinds of soloing embellishment tools. Plus, we're going to need to understand where the sweet tones are in the scale, and that's going to take some music theory knowledge. Plus, we're going to also have to learn how to target those tones physically, with our technique once we get into doing solos. So in this lesson, I'm going to try and break down a good guitar soloing exercise system that you can get started with right away. Well, in getting started, I think it's important to note that players who are interested in getting better with playing lead guitar have to start to realize that great lead guitar players have always also been great rhythm guitar players. So you've got to get to know your chords, you got to work on your rhythm guitar and so forth. What we're going to do here is we're going to develop a short run of chords, and we're going to sort out how the scales are going to relate to them. After that, we're going to move to our scales associated to the chord harmony and the key, and we're going to start building lead ideas after that. So in this lesson, we're going to start here with the most popular key, or one of the most popular keys that we have in guitar. It's the key of E minor. I don't know how many guitar solos have been conducted in E minor, or how many rock guitar songs and all kinds of other styles of guitar songs have been written in E minor, but it's just going to be tons and tons of them. So super popular key for guitar. The chords that we're going to look at are going to be the root of the key of E minor, E minor here up at the a shape based off the 7th fret of 5th string. So what's going on there is we have our root of E, we have the 5th and the octave of E, and a minor 3rd G up top. It's just a fairly straightforward chord to fret out. Index finger, 3rd, 4th, and 2nd finger, generate that in 7th position. Then what we're going to do in the harmony we're going to work with is we're going to move down into a C major chord. We're going to do that as a major based off of the 3rd position, off of the 5th string. So we have the C root there, a G, another C, and then up top we have our major 3rd, it's a high E up there. So that's a C major, 3rd position C major. Then we're going to take that shape, that 5th string root bar chord shape, and we're going to move it up a whole step and place it on a D at the 5th position, and we're going to give ourselves the D major. So we're building from the 6th chord up into the 7th chord and then back into the root chord again. It's a very popular sound in minor keys. So those are the chords we're going to work with. Next thing we're going to do is take a look at some popular guitar scale patterns. Well, the next thing we're going to do is run through two of the most popular guitar scale patterns that are used to create leads within a minor key center. These are going to be minor pentatonic scale and the natural minor scale, also sometimes called the Aeolian mode. Now, I want to run through a couple of most popular scale patterns in the center area of the guitar neck. The first pattern is going to be a 7th position, 5th string root, E minor pentatonic scale. It goes like this. Here, just a little bit faster. That's the E minor pentatonic scale, 7th position off the 5th string root. The E root is there along with its octave up here at the 3rd string, 9th fret. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is, in the same position, a full 7-tone natural minor scale based off the same root of E, and it goes like this. Here it is again, a little bit faster. So those are the first two scales I'd like you to take a look at, do a little bit of practice on them, and we're going to come back in a moment, and we're going to start looking at putting all this together in a progression. All right, now we get to have some fun with all this information. Let's begin by creating a simple chord progression using those chords from the key center. So we're going to have E minor for 2 measures, and then we're going to move over to C major, and then come up to D major. So have a metronome going or a drum machine or whatever, and just have some kind of groove anyway so that you have good timing, and just practice getting a nice flow across all those chords so everything sounds smooth and balanced. Now, next what we're going to do is create a really basic lead guitar melody line that focuses upon the vital chord tones of each of the chords. And since our E minor chord lasts for 2 measures up front there, we can work at targeting into all those tones for the E minor. So they're going to be the root, the minor third of G, and the perfect fifth of B. So that's E, G, B. Those are your minor chord tones for your E minor chord. So what we're going to do is just target into that. I have a short melody line that covers that E minor chord. It goes like this. So very pentatonic bass, it's very simple. And then what we're going to do is when we shift over to that C major, we're going to target just the root and the fifth. So we start on the fifth, roll through, come up to the root, and then we're going to double back there into the fifth fret of the fourth string, which is the G, the fifth of the chord. So after that, what we're going to do on the D chord is we're just going to target right into the D root. So that's going to be fairly simple. We're going to have an E note come a little bit ahead of that there, just kind of embellish it a bit. Sweeten it up a little bit with a second interval against that root of that chord. So all together, the whole melody that we have, the simple melody, it goes like this. Now I have all those chord changes into the loop pedal, so I'm going to fire the loop pedal up, and I'm going to play the melody line over top of the chord changes in the background. All right, so now that we've gone and established a really simple melody, let's try and expand upon that with the application of some phrasing devices. And this means we're going to try and add more color and more articulation to the sound of the melody line with the techniques that embellish the arrival of new scale tones. Now, some of the most popular techniques are, of course, the bends, bend and release ideas, hammer-ons, pull-offs, vibrato, of course, rake technique. It's a very cool sound, just sort of sweep idea across the strings. Just get your pick raking very smoothly across string sets and then just try to follow suit very easily across each note there. Lift your fingers up, though. You don't want the rake to sound like a chord. That's not really the point of it. You want it to have it come across with more individual tones. All right, so all those kind of techniques, they're a lot of fun. You have to practice some of them, of course, and get the technique into your playing. But basically, I've got a melody all set up here that's using a lot of those. In the first measure for the E minor chord, I'm going to cover it like this. So we get that bend and release sound in there. Then in the next measure for the E minor, I'm going to use a faster 16th note triplet idea, so I get a nice hammer-on pull-off effect in there. You can hear I'm coming, off of that 5th chord tone into this 7th fret D note, which is actually a 7th to the chord, so it kind of generates an interesting minor 7 effect. And so that's that second measure. Then in the third measure, it's going to get really interesting for that C major chord. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off the major third and the root. And then I'm going to go across that arpeggio with a sweep or a rake. So I'm going to go, and then I'm going to go around that 10th fret and 8th fret there. Jump forward with another bend and release. And in that point, I've already come around to the sound of the D major. So this stuff here, that stuff's all covering C major. But that last one's on the D chord. So here's the whole thing now. So you can see it takes on a lot more life to it when you're adding all these phrasing devices. So what I'm going to do to just kind of take things out here is I'm going to fire up the loop pedal and play this melody over those chord changes, give you a chance to hear how everything sounds when it comes together. Well, getting really good at playing solos will obviously take time and effort. You'll need to understand your personal sense of your feel, and you need to have great timing. So this is where solid rhythm guitar skills come in. Think of, guys like Eddie Van Halen, Steve Vai, or maybe Stevie Ray Vaughn. These players are not just phenomenal lead guitar players, they're also excellent and highly competent in the department of rhythm guitar. So I would suggest starting out with a number of basic chords and basic rhythm guitar rehearsals. Start going through that, develop good rhythm feel with chords and being able to do it in many different kinds of styles, because if you just play rock or you just play country or you're just into pop music or whatever, you got to branch out into quite a few styles. Try some Latin stuff, get into, jazz and so forth. Just keep branching out into a lot of styles. It's going to be really helpful for your basic feel. The next thing is to move on into more complex progressions and keep trying to, both target into chord tones and apply a lot of those phrasing device concepts. Embellishments are a huge part of playing a lead guitar idea. So, as you do this, what's going to happen in time, your feel is going to get better, your intuition is going to get better, and you're going to gain a lot more control for being able to play guitar solos. Anyhow, that's about all time that I have for today. As always, thanks for watching. Have fun working on all this stuff. Please subscribe to the channel, and if possible, consider a small donation to help fund the Guitar Lessons Project online here. It'd help out a lot. Anyways, have yourself a really great week, and I will catch up with you next time. Bye for now. I'd like to take a moment to mention another guitar video lesson project I've started. It's a unique guitar lesson approach that I'm doing online, and it's not like anything I've done before. Best of all, it's 100% free. I've called this approach Guitar Micro Lessons, and they're a great way to learn a few new licks or riffs or chord shapes each week. Now, these guitar micro lessons are quick and easy to learn from. They're very short, with each lesson running between only 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes in length. They're published to YouTube from Monday to Thursday on my other Guitar Blog Update YouTube channel, and you can either subscribe to that channel to guarantee getting each new episode, or just visit the channel whenever it's convenient for you and check out the new micro lessons in the playlist on the Guitar Blog Update channel's homepage. If you'd like to learn the modes and really get an understanding how they can be used musically to write songs, play a solo, or compose melody lines, then you're in luck. My ebook, Using the Major Scale Modes, is a comprehensive manuscript outlining exactly how modes are used both in harmony and to compose melodic ideas. Over 50 pages of scale patterns, example progressions, and music theory all create one of the most comprehensive methods on the modes available. Using the Major Scale Modes is available for instant download in the View Our Products area at creativeguitarstudio.com.